Hey guys, so what is this today? It is like February 28th, I believe. It is Sunday, February 28th. Well, at least it's Sunday. I know pretty much for a fact that it's Sunday. Whether or not it's the 28th, that I'm a little uncertain about. So today we're going to do this whole little walking and talking thing, going through the woods and out to the field on the other side. I actually haven't done this walk since last year when Tex and Tonto were still around. So basically, when I had the pups, we would always we'd walk straight out here because our property backs up onto a 1,900-acre park. And there's these fields back here, and so basically I could walk them back here without a leash and really not have to worry about it. Because the nice part is one, it's a 1,900-acre park, so even if they ran away, they couldn't go. It didn't matter. They want to hit a road. And then two, it's one of these weird parks where this specific area nobody actually goes to. There's no official trails over here because it's this field that gets mowed for hay. So we didn't even have to worry about dealing with dogs and all that kind of stuff, other dogs. So that was back then. Have not been back here since then. It's definitely gotten a little muddier though. All of this wasn't here before. This was all dry land, but I guess that's what you get when you're in this little stream area. Lots of rains and stuff move things around. Thankfully, my little board is still here though. I put this board down a couple of years ago. So it's still here, so I can walk across the water this way, and we can go over here, and hopefully I won't fall into the water when I try to go across this log. So last time I was down here, this log right here, right? This used to just be a clean log. Like this was my walking across log. But as you can see, the rain and all of that changed it. So let's see if I can walk across this without killing myself. And now you're probably thinking, Eli, why are you trying to talk into a camera as you try to not kill yourself? And it's because I live on the wild side. The wild side. Ooh, there we go. Hey, that's pretty nice. It is beautiful back here. It's beautiful back here. Now, one of the lessons you have to learn in life. Here's one of the lessons in life when you go out to buy property. Lesson when you go out to buy property. Make sure you know exactly what kind of property you're buying, right? So we own 3 acres of land. 3 acres of land. And now here's the only issue, right? Is that 1.5 acres of land is this stuff. So we didn't really realize it when we bought it. We bought our big old house and we got our 3 acres of land. And what I didn't really actually realize is that literally half of our land is this whole stream area that floods on a pretty regular basis. It stays relatively dry most of the time. Like most of the time, it's about as wet as it is now, which obviously isn't dry, but isn't horrible either. But then whenever we get to like hurricane season or whenever we get to rain season, then the water goes up pretty high. So if you see like that tree there. The hell am I pointing at? That tree right there. It gets at least that high. So all of this will be like water, at least that high. So when you buy 3 acres of land, you think about all the things that you can do with 3 acres of land. You can have a really big yard, or you could have a really big garden, or you could build another garage so that you would have some place to work out of. And all those things are true. All of those things are true if half of your property is not situated in a flood zone, in a regular flood zone. It's not even like a flood zone like, every couple of years something happens, but like literally 2 to 3 times per year this thing floods, like I say, to where I would be in water right now. So the little lessons I try to teach you guys in life, because it's just the stuff you don't really think about. Like when we bought this and we had the 3 acres, I looked down at the stream, and at the time it didn't look so marshy. So I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. And now you realize, no, you own 1.5 acres of basically something slightly better than swampland. Okay. What are you gonna do? So, it's been going along today in life. My wife and I have been doing the whole nice little exercise routine. We went out hiking today. That was very good. Have my little surge here, able to track things. So with this surge, again, one of these lessons, if you buy one of these surges, It has a built-in GPS. So the built-in GPS is used for if you're going to be hiking. So it really tracks like your walks to make sure you get the right location and the right distance and all that kind of stuff. The issue that I found though is the GPS isn't on automatically. So here's the deal. If you don't turn on the GPS, the battery life on this thing, once it's recharged, is like 7 days, 7 point something days, which is really nice, right? So if you want to wear this all night, like you use it for an alarm, basically the nice thing with a Fitbit Surge is that you really can wear it all the time. Because a lot of the other devices, you know, the Android Gear, or Samsung Gear, I guess, or the Apple Watch, one of the problems is if you're going to use it to track activity, you gotta recharge it every day. And as I say, you put it on the recharger, you forget about it the next day, all of a sudden you're not wearing it anymore. The nice thing with this, 7-day battery, and so you keep it on for 7 days, and then you recharge it once per week, and that's not too bad. The issue is though, is the GPS component, I guess, really burns battery. So not using GPS, it goes 7 point something days. Using GPS, it only goes 10 hours. So that's one of the little lessons I learned using this thing. But overall, I still like it. Like I said, I went out hiking today, used this with a GPS function on, then we came back, it sunk up with their servers, and it actually showed me a map of the route we used to walk. So that was pretty good all in all. So I do have to say I like it. As far as the weigh-in this morning, went down even more. I hope that's a good thing. So I'm down to 201.1 as of today, which means I've now lost over 6 pounds already. Woo-hoo. Again, I'm not sure how much of that is impressive as far as exercise or whatever is concerned, or how much of that is impressive as in how much crap my bowels contained before all this started. But that's a nice little deal. Now, one of the interesting things though, again with weight loss and also as with success that I was looking at today is, so my wife's parents are coming over tonight, and so my wife wanted me to cook some special dinner, right? So we decided to cook some Thai food. And since we're going over to this place called Catonsville anyway to go hiking, I told her, hey, why don't we go to there's a Oriental or an Asian grocery store there. Like a real Asian grocery store, not like an Asian 7-Eleven or Quickie Mart, like a grocery store. You walk into that thing, and it's the size of a normal grocery store, a normal Giant or normal whatever Safeway that you have in your area. And so it was interesting. Again, when you start thinking about success, you start thinking about the goals that you're going after. Now, one of the issues, like when you're trying to lose weight, one of the problems for a lot of people is that they go to normal American grocery stores. Again, not even Whole Foods, or a PCC, but normal American grocery stores. And when you go to normal American grocery stores, right, there's a little line of fresh vegetables at the outskirts of the store. And then most of the stuff in a modern American grocery store really is crappy food. And again, I'm not getting like snarky on the crappy food. I'm just saying, like, my parents would not have fed me this crap when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we eat all the time. So you go to a modern American grocery store, and it's just full of a bunch of massive amounts of processed food that are hyper saturated with calories. Again, it's the type of thing where, you know, you have some item of food, and it just simply has far more calories than you would have ever expected it to have. It has more salt than you would have expected it to have, has more sugar, all that kind of stuff. And so what you have to think about is, like, if you're on a diet or something and you go to a normal American grocery store and that's all the food that's around, what kind of food are you actually going to buy when you're there? Are you really only going to buy carrots and cabbage and tofu and noodles, or are you going to buy this other crap, right? And so as I say, you know, a lot of times we go out to like the Whole Foods, and so you go to Whole Foods, and the thing is, a lot of the stuff there really is healthier, at least to a degree. It's not as calorie dense. Like when you buy things, it's not so their stuff isn't so saturated with sugar and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot easier to go there and get healthy food. Even when you're getting rices and pastas and all that kind of stuff, it's just not as caloric and crappy as a lot of the stuff you get in the normal grocery stores. Well, the interesting thing is going to this Asian grocery store. You know, everybody talks about like how skinny Asians are, especially back in the Asian countries, whether it's South Korea or whether it's Thailand or where. what's interesting going to this Asian grocery store is when you walk in there, basically all they sold was food. Like food. And you're like, what do you mean all they sold was food? Well, there's an old thing. I read a book a long time ago. It was like, eat food, mostly plants. And basically, again, there's a guy, he had a pretty basic, simple concept on what kind of food you should eat if you want to be healthy. And his idea with food is that you should only eat food that your great-grandparent would recognize. All right, so if you go back to like 1895, and your great-grandparent was sitting there in front of a plate of food, the idea is whatever you are eating, that your great-grandparent should recognize that. So your great-grandparent would not recognize a Hot Pocket, would not recognize a Pop-Tart, would not recognize most of the food that gets sold in a modern grocery store, right? So the idea is you eat real food. So a steak, again, not trying to be vegan here, a steak, a steak. If you put a steak in front of somebody 100 years ago and you put a steak in front of somebody today, you know what that is. Cabbage and coleslaw, and, I don't know, carrots and potatoes and all that kind of stuff. And then his idea was it was also mostly plants because that's what's mostly healthy for you. And so it was interesting is going to this Asian grocery store and people talk about how healthy a lot of Asians are. And it was all food. Like you go in there and literally 1/3 of this grocery store was plants. I mean, basically it was fruits and it was vegetables. It was just every kind of fruit and vegetable you can imagine. They had, because my wife has been complaining because with her dietary restrictions now, basically she can only eat a lot of starches, so most of her calories come from starches because she's having a lot of reactions with other foods. And again, this ain't about vegan or any of that. It's just about like, can you imagine having your blood itch? You know what I'm saying? Like, all arguments stop with the concept of having your blood itch. And so she has, like I said, it's these food sensitivities, and so she's found eating starches, as most of the calories seem to relieve a lot of that issue. But her problem is okay, she eats sweet potatoes, and she eats potatoes, and she eats rice, she eats, squash and all that kind of stuff. But after a while, those kind of things get tiring. And so it was interesting as you go in there, and they just had like all these kinds of starches you haven't seen before, like all these kind of plants, all these kind of root plants. And they're just like 20 different ones like we had never even seen. Just absolutely awesome. I like yucca. Like we love yucca. Have you had yucca? Yucca is amazing. I think yucca should be like the American food. Yucca is like potato squared, especially if you have like fried yucca. I don't know how this is not like an American food, because like fried yucca, when you eat fried yucca, it is just like heaven, just like starchy, greasy heaven. A little salt on some fried yucca, like one of those little sauces. Oh my god! But they just had like piles of like when we normally go to like a grocery store and we get yucca, there's like 10 yucca to choose from. Like we went to this Asian place, and there was just a pile of yucca. There's like 150 yuccas sitting there. You can find exactly which one you want, but you go through, and it's all like 1/3 of it is vegetables, and then the rest of it is all basically food. Like they have an entire aisle of rices, like every kind of rice you can want, and then they have an entire aisle of noodles, every kind of noodle you can want. And you just go through, and they do have sauces, which are obviously a little weird, but even the meats and everything else, they're basically pretty normal. You look at it and you go, wow, that's normal food. And so one of the things to be thinking about, like if you're trying to get diet or anything like that, is one of the concepts is like, where are you going to do something like shopping? Is the places that you are going to for support actually going to support what you're trying to do? So if you're trying to diet, if you're trying to be healthy, and you go into a normal American grocery store, again, Safeway, Giant, any of that kind of thing, think about how much of it is food that you probably shouldn't be eating, right? 90% is probably food that you shouldn't be eating. You know it, I know it, just everything in there. Chock-a-block with high fructose corn syrup and who the hell knows what, right? Again, Whole Foods is a little better, but imagine, again, like if you're trying to diet, imagine how much easier it would be if you went into a grocery store where everything was basically healthy. Everything was basically healthy. Like when you pick it up, you look at it, and the ingredients are like 3 or 4 or 5 ingredients, not a zillion different ingredients. You pick something up, and like nothing has high fructose corn syrup in it. Nothing has stupid amounts of salt in it. Everything is, like I say, relatively healthy. Because that's one of the problems people have. Like when they're trying to diet or trying to lose weight or get in shape, and they go to the grocery store, and they're going through, and at the end they're like, well, just one bag of potato chips.
And then, if I get one bag of potato chips, I really need to get, I need to get some dip with that. And then, if you're gonna have some dip with that, man, you can't have chips and dip without beer. Think about it, if you just go to a place where those things aren't on the menu. You go to the one grocery store and you can buy whatever you want in the grocery store. There is no restrictions on what you buy in the grocery store, because basically anything that you buy in the grocery store is gonna be healthy for you. And so again, this is something to be thinking about, like with the goals as you try to accomplish things in life, are the places that you're going to, do they actually support the kind of life that you want to have, right? This is anything from like just education to moving your career ahead. Is it, if you're trying to move your career ahead, are you in an environment where they're trying to push people up into higher ranks? Again, think about that. Jobs aren't the same, right? Two network administrators in different companies will have much different careers. Let's say they walk in and they have the same skill set. They have a bachelor's degree, they have an MCSE, they have 2 years experience, and they walk in and they're both junior level administrators. One is a junior level administrator at a startup company that has a lot of funding, that has a lot of opportunity, right? The other goes in as a junior level administrator at, let's say, the local hospital, right? Same intelligence, same qualifications, and when they walk in the door, the same pay. They both get paid, let's say, $40,000 a year plus benefits walking in the door. Well, here's the thing. Is the environment going to be, which environment is going to be good for moving ahead in your career? Is it going to be the place where it's a hospital, where basically you only have 3 or 4 or 5 people in the department entirely? They all stay there until the day they die, and therefore you basically have no room for growth there. Or you go to a startup company. The startup company literally plans to hire 500 people in the next 2 years. As they hire 500 people in the next 2 years, they're going to need to move up. The people, basically the administrators are going to progressively have to have more and more and more responsibility simply for the company to function. At the end of 5 years, the person that went into the hospital maybe has gotten promoted to being an administrator. Maybe, right? Just a normal administrator. He's now making $60,000 a year after 5 years. That person that went into the startup company could literally, at that point, either be the CIO, the CTO, or if nothing else, the IT director, simply because those positions opened up. They push everybody up, they push people from the bottom to go into those positions, and that person's making $150,000, $200,000 a year. Again, when they started out, same intelligence, same qualifications, same pay walking in the door. It's just simply that the environment they're in supported them more. Again, the same type of thing is true with, like I say, with things like education. One of the big problems that I see with a lot of people wanting to do online education is that they don't realize that so much of education has nothing to do with what's taught in class. Right? A lot of education, a lot of modern education is about the people that you meet, the Rolodex that you create, that social networking that you do. Those people that you party with when you're 22, guess what? When you're 40, you guys are all going to be different levels of management. And again, the people that you form a bond with will be very valuable. So you go out and you have somebody who goes out to college. Let's say they get an online degree. They go out there, they bust their ass to get an online degree. And you have another person that busts their ass and gets an in-person degree. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, online degrees are as good in education, as good in education as going to a brick and mortar school. But the thing is, that person that went to brick and mortar school really sucked up to the professors. So the professors really liked them and wanted them to get ahead. They talked with all the other people in the class so that they were able to network. So as other people got jobs, they could say, hey, I don't suppose the company that just hired you would be willing to hire me. They were able to use the the career advice department to try to get internships. So you have one person who sits at home, studies really hard, knows the material front, back to front, really understands what's going on, understands the material that's been presented to them. You have the other person, again, also understands the material, but has met all these people, has done all these internships, has schmoozed, has sucked up, has done all of these things, who do you think is going to be better at the end of the day? Again, it's just the support mechanism of the places that you're going to be going to. Again, and even too, like I say, with universities, that's one thing that I dislike with so many universities giving IT degrees, is most of these universities that give IT degrees don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? So if you go to a school that is known for technology, you're going to have people coming to that school to recruit for technology professionals. Around here, we have a number of different universities that are known for technology. They're known to teach people technology very well. On the other hand, we have other universities that are known to be crap for teaching people technology. Again, you take the same person, you put them in one school where basically nobody thinks they teach very well, and you put them in a different school where everybody knows that it's a good school. Who do you think is going to be more successful at the end of the day? Right? Because again, if you have recruiters coming to your school specifically to find technology professionals, you're going to have more opportunities than the person still getting a degree not. I know when I was out at Fort Collins, right? Fort Collins, and so Colorado State University, I think it's CSU is out there. I don't know, University of Colorado, one of those. There's a university in Fort Collins. And so I was talking to one of the people in the startup scene there, an older person in the startup scene, like a 45-year-old in the startup scene, and was talking about, why there was Galvanize there, if you've heard of Galvanize. So Galvanize was there. I think Intel had an office in Fort Collins. HP had an office in Fort Collins. Like there were like 5 or 6 like major technology companies that had offices in Fort Collins, plus a lot of sub companies. And I was talking to the person, and I was like, I don't understand why are these companies here? And he said, well, CSU has a very good tech department. So basically, every year when all these students graduate from the school, all these major companies are there to grab the kids up. They're like, we know this university has a good technology education department. We need technology professionals. So as soon as the kids walk out the door, it's not simply that the kids have to be motivated to find a job. It's that the employers are motivated to get the kids from the school. Like literally, that is one of the reasons why these employers set up shop in Fort Collins. And so again, you got to be thinking about that. Is the environment going to be supportive? When you go to university, do you have employers lining up out the door to hire the graduates, right? If you do, you're going to be much more successful than if you're in a university where nobody really cares. Oh, what? That university has an IT department? Huh. I didn't think they had an IT department. I thought they were like some kind of weird art school or something, right? So these are some of the things that you should be thinking about, because it really was interesting. Like I said, trying to be healthy and all that now, and just walking into that Asian grocery store. And it was just so curious, because like I said, all of it was like food. All of it was good. I mean, I'm not saying you can't get fat off of it if you don't want to. Obviously, they have entire gallon things of oil or whatever if you want to like try to guzzle that. But by and large, you could go in there, fill up your shopping cart with whatever the hell you want, and at the end of the day, it's still probably going to have less calories than like a couple of boxes of pizza pockets or whatever, right? Something to be thinking about. So I guess I should go back and start preparing the Thai food for tonight. So we're gonna be doing a little green curry. Got some nice baby eggplant for the green curry, and gonna try to do spring rolls. Green curry, I'm not too worried about. I'm kind of curious. I've never done spring rolls before, so I'm gonna go back and do the spring rolls. Other than that, just trucking along. So anyways, I guess I do really have to trudge back. So talk to you guys in the next video.